Greenland is splashing almost 1 centimeter more water per year into the global ocean, a jet propulsion specialist from NASA says, and it only has a tad over 24 more feet to give. I'm not sure why NASA needs to know how fast Greenland is sinking. Maybe the question is how fast it could shed that ice. Our specialist is a paid researcher at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he was the natural choice for this mad adventure because he volunteered to stand around and watch how fast Greenland sinks over the next 5 years, and guess how we can use that information to better predict the future. Greenland has a population of 56,000. Obviously, none of them were asked how fast Greenland was sinking because there wasn't a decent jet propulsion specialist among them. The NASA specialist has told us that a warm and wonderful current is drifting up with the Atlantic and dealing a death blow to the glaciers of Greenland. Atlantic waters swirl in a clockwise rotation around the enormous island. In those fjords that are the deepest, the Atlantic Ocean lashes out to destroy the standing glaciers. Where it's deep, there's warm water, says the scientific report. Perhaps that means that the big and thick glaciers often get hit hard at their bases, even as the small and thin ones don't necessarily get hit much at all. So, why is Greenland subject to this polar discrimination? Not only that, but also scarcely plausible. Since it is a known fact that water levels cannot ride in one spot without rising in all spots, then Greenland must be sinking. When did it begin? Good heavens, is it also tilting on its axis as it sinks? When it sinks into the Arctic Ocean, will it give up enough colloidal shrapnel to raise the water level at the North Pole by 30 feet? Is Florida sinking too? Why hasn't a jet propulsion specialist been dispatched to determine how many kilometers of Florida are being assimilated annually by the vicious Atlantic Ocean? Could this news mean that the roller coaster at Disney World is at risk? The recently published findings mark a good start in measuring all the island's high points. Soon the world will be informed why Greenland is sinking fast enough to lose its girdle of ice. Has anyone asked those 56,000 natives if that girdle of ice came from salt water or fresh? If it was made from fresh water, then this is the time to begin salvaging those glaciers and ship all that ice to Israel. The glaciers at Greenland are actively losing enough ice that it is also important for oceanographers to know. Furthermore, it must be determined how much the water temperature changes as it goes up the west coast of Greenland, our jet propulsion specialist insists. Overall, together I think these papers suggest that the glaciers as a whole are more vulnerable than we thought they were, he said. It is added, of course, with the aforementioned caveat that NASA is not ready yet to feed the data into a model that actually shows how this could play out over the decades of our future. That in itself is proof that Greenland ice is melting quite a lot. This kind of result suggests that we could be in for more sea level rise than we thought, this specialist tells us. And we're not alone. The fact is that almost every time some new results come out of Greenland or Antarctica, we find these glaciers are more vulnerable than we thought. Is Antarctica sinking too? Great jumping horse apples. We'd better ask NASA how many more idle jet propulsion specialists can be dispatched to these trouble spots. We might need more precise oceanography data like this, perhaps even immediately.